Burks on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Tam to Stinson all the way to MA. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day. The Dennis, Dylan, and NWA.
Welcome to the Run TMC podcast. That is the Run the Marin County podcast, a podcast about basketball in Marin County. I'm Duffy Ballard, and with me is Dave Levine, who's gearing up for a very big day of sport. He's coaching a couple basketball games and getting ready for WNBA final, Game 5, not to mention Chiefs and Niners. What a big day we have, Dave. So it is October 20th, and it is 8:43 in the morning. We're going to knock out this intro to the podcast and then have ourselves a day after that, Dave.
What an intro, Duffy. You yourself are coaching some games today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the only one that's busy. I want to say one big announcement, breaking news, Duff. I have hot coffee this morning.
Okay. I have a cup that had hot coffee in it, and now it's just got like a drop or two left of lukewarm coffee. So I'm badly in need of a refill. We'll see if Angela or Kenya comes to my aid.
Yeah, I do get some grief from our listeners about my iced coffee propensities, proclivities, should we say? So leave me alone, people. I'm going hot coffee today. Yes, a fun day and really a fun time of year as we gear up for the season. So we're recording this on October 20th. The high school season starts in a couple weeks. Obviously the NBA, I think NBA tips off in 2 days, 22nd, I believe. Colleges are practicing. And as you mentioned, the WNBA, we'll maybe do a deeper dive on the WNBA next week after we know the outcome. But this, many people are saying, I sound like Trump there, many people are saying, this is the greatest WNBA final series ever. I think it's the first one that's ever gone to Game 5. The Lynx and the Liberty have been in incredible games. Sabrina Ionescu is hitting game winners from 26 feet. It's great basketball, and I love what this is doing for the women's game.
Yeah, big comebacks, cliffhangers, big shots. Yeah, this has been fun to watch, Dave. I can't say I've watched every minute, but I did watch the end of Game 4, and that was a very hard-fought win for the Lynx. My prediction, Dave, and we're going to record two versions of this. My prediction is that New York will win at home and take the title.
I would, if I had, a gun to my head, I would say the Liberty as well. I think when you have players like Breanna Stewart and Sabrina, who are battle-tested gold medalists, obviously the Lynx are stacked too, and Reeves is a great coach. So it's going to be really fun to watch. I'm excited to do that. I've got my DVR set since I will be coaching. And, Duff, in like 5 years, maybe we're going to be talking about our guest today on this episode. Maybe she'll be playing in some WNBA finals herself.
Good segue. Smooth.
Thank you.
Very well done. All right, Dave, what time is it?
Duffy, I believe it's sponsor time.
Right. It's not dime time. We're going to get there. Sponsor time.
Yeah.
So we have brought back our stalwart sponsor, Jerry and Rebecca at the Hub, have re-upped with us. Thank you, Jerry and Rebecca. Not to mention that you have helped train and make my daughter Haley a better person as an employee of the Hub, but now you are doing the same with my son Holden, and I'm sorry that he sometimes forgets what time his shift is supposed to start, but we love you at the Hub. It is a stalwart of our community, great burgers, great draft beer. They do need to bring back a hazy IPA. Last time I was in there, no hazy, Jerry. Salads are amazing. And this time of year, sitting outside, this October weather, just the glow and the contrast, sit out there with a burger, watch a game. So thank you, Hub. We love having you back.
We love the Hub. One anecdotal comment, or no, you know what? You got me on this last time, Duffy. This is an editorial comment. I'm over the summer weather. I want fall weather. I want a bite to the air. I want crispness. I want a 60-ish, 50s to 60s now. I'm done with the 70s and 80s.
But the mornings are cool. Like I'm in my garage right now on my desk cycle, and I've got my blanket on me because it's a nice, crisp morning, Dave. So I think you're getting what you want.
Well, you're in the hinterlands out there in Sleepy Hollow. Okay,
An
next
elevation.
sponsor. Yes, that's right. Next sponsor, Batiste Rum. Thank you again, John Lawson and Batiste. We're very excited to have you as a sponsor. One thing we didn't mention last time is you can find Batiste at fine retailers across Marin or just ask for it. I can tell you that John and I have had a couple Batiste cocktails at La Toscana down off 101 in Terra Linda. I know a couple of the restaurants in Mill Valley serve it. So it's at various restaurants around Marin, but then also at various retailers. So just ask for it and look it up online, but it's really good rum, and we're very excited to have them as a sponsor.
And finally, Jeff Skaggs and the Nike San Domenico camps, which have been in the summer for many, many years, 25 years this coming summer. And then this year, the first annual Nike preseason basketball camp at San Domenico, November 25 to 27. Check it out. Great facility, great staff. Thank you, Jeff Skaggs and team.
Okay. Thank you, sponsors. Other sponsors, potential sponsors, reach out to us. You know how to find us. Duffy, let's move on to the glossary.
All right. What do you got, Dave?
I've got a distinction, Duffy. A double screen versus a stagger screen. And this came up, I was coaching practice last week, and I was running through some ideas for our team on a 5-out and just kind of giving players advice on read and react. And I mentioned a stagger screen, and then the girls got into a double screen. So I thought, okay, let's discuss this. So both a double screen and a stagger screen involve two offensive players setting a screen for one of their teammates, but the formation is different. So a double screen, Duff, is two players stand next to each other like they're forming a wall, right? That's one way to do it. A stagger screen is one player screener standing in front of the other, kind of like they're lining up, but with a few feet between them. So if you think about Steph Curry coming from the baseline, curling up to the top of the key, and you've got Kevon Looney setting a screen for him, and then about 2 or 3 feet behind Kevon, you've got Draymond Green setting another screen for him. So what's the defense going to do if they switch the first one? Well, now are they going to switch the second one? It causes a little bit of chaos. So that's a stagger versus a double screen, which is where they're just standing next to each other. Did I explain that well?
Yeah, that's good. But the stagger screen it's staggered both on one side of the ball as opposed to horns, which is also another double screen, but is on opposite sides of the ball.
Great point.
The ball screen, right? And I believe we talked about horns before. Shouldn't the double screen just be called a wall screen? Would that make it simpler?
I think that would be easier. And actually horns, I'm glad you brought up horns. Horns is where you basically the ball handler can choose which way he or she wants to go, right? So it's kind of a screen in either direction, whereas a stagger is the players going in the same direction. It's just one after the other. But yeah, you're right. Wall screen. Let's start a movement, Duff.
Mm-hmm. Let's wall up on that. So the stagger, I believe, Dave, could be on ball or off ball. Could you can run an off ball player like Curry off of a stagger off ball screen.
It happens all the time. But let's harken back to one of our great episodes from season 1 where we talked to Tom Poser about that last play in the CYO championship game where he borrowed a play that actually Mike Fulton used for our San Domenico team when he had a ball handler, and that ball handler came off a stagger screen up top, and the second screen was a big player who then forced the switch. So the ball handler turns the corner, the big player now has a small player on him, he rolls to the block, layup, championship, right? That was an example of an on-ball stagger screen.
Yeah, that was Oliver Myers to Chase Hatch. Really well executed. And then one of the thing that kind of made that play is the ball handler is Oliver. He kind of started to turn the corner, and then he kind of peeled back with his dribble while maintaining his dribble to give the big guy the time to get to the block and not feed him too early. And then by that time, Chase had kind of sealed off, and he had his little right-hand hook thing that is really hard to guard. Yeah,
exactly. So hopefully now, players, the difference between a double screen and a stagger screen. You're welcome. Okay, Duff, you're going to talk about a switching tactic on defense.
Yes, Dave. So the peel switch, which is a specific type of switch in which a defender is beat, and often this might occur in space. So for example, if you're a pressing team and you're playing a zone press or a man press, and a player might get by someone at speed, but then you have a second line of defense. And the second line of defense is going to peel off onto the ball handler, and the trailing defender is then going to find that player's offensive mark or just peel back into space, usually like into the middle, to find the next available offensive player who might be one pass away.
So another term that's, I'm just thinking, maybe I'm wrong here, but a run and jump press, which is a man-to-man or player-to-player press that involves double teaming and switching, involves a peel switch. And it's hard to master, but when you get it, it's an extremely effective tool. And I actually remember harking back to my high school days. Jonas Honeck had us run a run and jump press with our team. We were small. We were undersized, but we would play with teams that were bigger because we put a lot of pressure on them, and we just figured out how to execute these peel switches beautifully. So we'd get a ball handler to a double team, and then the initial player guarding the ball handler would then peel off and get right in the passing lane and steal it. And it's very effective. A lot of teams in Marin today use a run and jump press, and the peel switch is a key component of that.
Thank you, Dave. Great addendum there. So we're moving right along. Dave, I know you've been thinking about a dime time. Dishing a dime.
I have a dime. It's a nickel right now. I'm gonna put it in my savings bank, Duff, and it's gonna be a dime soon. Kids, a nickel is 5 cents and a dime is 10 cents. I don't think people know what these are anymore. Next episode, I will share my dime time. It is a documentary that I like, but I'm gonna wait to percolate a little bit on it.
Okay, lovely. Yeah, so for those who did not catch our preview episode, Dishing Dimes is a new segment where Dave and I are going to throw out some life advice here and there. It may or may not be about the sport of basketball. I have two, Dave. The first is listen to season 2, episode 1, Michael Delosio, an amazing storyteller, an amazing story. So if you haven't already, go back. Start on season 2, episode 1.
I concur. The feedback we've received from that episode, even though we released it a week ago, Duff, has been fantastic. And Michael in particular is overwhelmed by the support and feedback he's been getting from people, some of whom he hasn't talked to in many years. It's an incredible story. He's an amazing storyteller. I highly recommend our listeners listen to that one. It's inspiring. It's great.
Yes, and I was texting with Michael and have also had some contacts with some of our players on the Archie team who are juniors and are looking right now at the college recruiting environment. And so Michael's going to come to one of our practices in November, Dave, and just, talk to the team a little bit. But I also want him to talk a little bit with, several of our players who really would like to play at the next level. And so I'm really looking forward to that. A very generous individual.
He's a gem of a human. And listeners, the 10 seconds, he walked on at Indiana and played for the defending national champions at a time where nobody did that. And he made it. And it's an incredible story about resilience and hard work and effort. And it's just, all he did is just work harder than everybody else. It's a very simple story, but great. So good stuff.
He outworked his environment, which is something that Jomar Butler told me about, Jace Butler, and his work up at Washington. He's trying to outwork the environment. So, and Delosio did that. Yep. All right. So my other one is, not at all basketball related, but to the young people out there, and even beyond young people. I know, Dave, you and I have had these conversations with our kids about experimenting with substances, now that they're in high school, my daughter in college, and saying to them, unfortunately, you don't have the leeway to experiment like kids in our generation because of these highly toxic chemicals that are so potent and can get mixed into anything. And I'm really thinking primarily about the fentanyls and the whole family of, synthetic fentanyls that you just can't experiment. And so this is a new one that I had not heard of until we had to treat someone who had a respiratory arrest outside the emergency room, Dave. And this patient, I'm not going to give identifying details, but he was waiting for his trip to the ER, and he took a cigarette and he dipped it in some liquid fentanyl and then smoked it. And so if someone offers you something called a fast fry, please just run away. So that is what it's called. If you dip a cigarette in fentanyl and then you light it, a fast fry, it's not recommended.
Scary stuff.
Really amazing.
And everybody, Duffy is a great resource. He's an emergency room physician. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah, just stay away.
So patient was fine. He survived. We had Narcan on hand. But nonetheless, if he'd been somewhere else rather than right outside the ER, that probably would not have been the same outcome. So anyway, I don't want to bring things down, Dave, but we do have a little bit of a platform here. There are some younger people that listen, and
Absolutely.
just you can't give this guidance too often as parents. You just there's just no leeway. There's no leeway in terms of experimenting.
100% agreed. Okay, moving on.
Dave, what next? Oh, we're going to just do a little bit of a teaser on a topic we're going to talk about in upcoming episodes probably, and that is, so every year there are changes made on the national level to the rule book, and then those changes are adopted here on a state basis and NCS basis. And so there are some new rule changes that are coming along. None of them are huge. None of them quite as big as what happened like with the foul count last year, where it switched from half to quarter. But this one is interesting, Dave. So in states that have a 35-second shot clock like we do in California, the on-ball 5-second call is no longer going to be enforced. Now, we have to get confirmation that California is adopting that, because it sounds like an optional thing. But yeah, you can dribble out front, or even if you're contested, for 10, 15 seconds. That's my reading of this rule change.
So closely guarded rule. Now, once you pick up your dribble, I assume there still is a 5-second call after
Correct.
You pick up your dribble. But if you're being closely guarded and you're dribbling, whereas up to this point, you only had 5 seconds to either advance the ball or it would be a turnover. Now that rule is going away, according to Duffy's close reading of this rule. But we're going to dive deeper into NCS rule changes in a future episode. I might get some perspectives from some other coaches, and then another tease here. But there are also some changes in the divisions and the schools that are in each division, and kind of the competitive equity system, which we've talked about a lot in the past. Still bothers me that our little San Domenico squad got moved up all the way up to Division 2 for NorCal's last year. But I'm moving on, Duffy. So we'll cover the rule changes as we get closer to the season starting.
Yeah, just real quickly on that, Dave. So you got moved up in NorCal's. The moving up and down will now occur at the NCS stage. However, there are restrictions to it, and so that you will not be moved up or down more than 2 divisions. And so you have your base division, which is based on the school size, and then you can get moved up or down based on your max prep ranking for NCS. But it won't be too dramatic of a move unless you're going for the open. And open, as it would suggest, is open to everyone. So Branson is back down at Division 5. So the highest they could get moved up would be Division 3, other than if they are once again chosen for the open.
Got it.
So yeah, more to come on that, Dave. And so we're going to start to do a little intro to this interview, which occurred in August, Dave.
Yeah,
I believe.
A couple months ago.
Yeah. But we also want to do a little preview to our next episode. And we're going to start to give our listeners the actual release schedule moving forward. So the next episode after this one, Dave, is going to come out on October 30th. And that is a Wednesday, the day before Halloween. And then the following episode after that is coming out on November 11th, Veterans Day. So that just gives us a chance to schedule our recording sessions, Dave, and make sure we have hot and cold coffee available. And the next episode is going to be on pickup basketball and on the shoot tournament. So there are a bunch of clips from the shoot tournament. We have a good interview with Tom Poser, our friend Tom Poser, just talking about pickup. We kind of do an extended crunch time with him with questions about playing pickup basketball. You'll hear a short clip at the end of this episode from that interview with Tom. So that's going to be fun. This interview, also really fun. I unfortunately was not there, Dave. I think I was traveling someplace in Central California at the time. But you did a nice job with Carly Amborn, and she is really composed, like all of the young people we've had on the show, just really impressive young people, young adults. So what do you want to tell us about this interview before we jump in?
Well, in the interview, I go through Carly's background, so I'll spare you that. She's just a fantastic kid, and you'll hear she's sharp, smart, composed, awesome, great. A few things that I wanted to point out in addition to what we talked about. First, I meant to acknowledge, and I failed to, Carly's coach at Archie Williams, Zach Wally, who's a great guy and a great coach and a huge supporter and contributor to Carly's success. So in the interview, it was a quicker interview than our normal hour. This was more like a 35 minute interview. And I kind of raced through it. And I just realized at the end that I forgot to mention Zach, and Zach's an awesome guy and very much contributor to her success. So wanted to acknowledge that.
Yeah, love Zach. He coached my daughter Haley in CYO. Was very patient with Haley through a couple years of her trying to pick up the sport of basketball, but had a really good team otherwise. And I just was really always very impressed with his demeanor, both in practice and on the bench. Very patient, giving instruction to individuals, really sort of bringing everyone up. So yeah, Zach, amazing guy. We wish him, a lot of success at Archie.
Absolutely. And then a few other things. We talk with Carly about her Stanford recruiting journey and the way that she obviously is committed to Stanford. She signs her national letter of intent in a couple weeks in November. And we talked about the distinction between an official visit and an unofficial visit. And by the time I was talking to her in August, she was getting ready to take her official visit to Stanford, which happened in October. Well, I just want to say she took her official visit a couple weeks ago, and it was awesome. She had a great time. She spent time with all of the other recruits in her class. She sent me pictures with her and Jerry Rice and Tara Vanderveer and Condoleezza Rice and other luminaries down there, and she had a great time. So just really excited for Carly and proud of her with this offer to play at an elite program like Stanford. And then the last thing I'll say is a couple weeks ago, Kate Pay, who is now the head coach at Stanford, she's taken over for Tara Vanderveer, who retired, and Katie Stedding, a legendary player at Stanford who's an assistant coach there, came and spent some time with Carly and toured San Domenico and spent time with Carly and her family and had dinner with them. And this is what, Kate and Katie were doing this with all of their recruits. And I've known Kate for a long time. She was at Stanford when I was there. She's a couple years ahead of me. And we had a really nice visit. And one of the things that she mentioned to me about Carly's class, so the 4 athletes who are committed for next season, is all of them are multi-sport varsity stars. So you have Carly, who is also a phenomenal tennis player, and we talk about this. And then a few others, I think one other softball player, and then 2 others are volleyball players. And Kate was saying that she loves that these are multi-sport athletes and that you become a more well-rounded athlete by playing multiple sports. And I thought that was interesting and very different from some of the messages we used to hear, Duff, when we were younger, which is, you got to specialize. So just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that our friend Nate Greenberg is listening to this podcast and hearing you mention that, Dave. Nate Greenberg lives right down the road from me, Dave, and I've coached him in a couple sports when he was younger, same age as Holden. But he is one of the top, I believe, 10 to 15 water polo players in the country. He's going to go to like a really big program in water polo. He's amazing to watch in the pool, but he's also a very good basketball player who played last year, played at the varsity level as a freshman. And so he probably is not playing this year basketball, Dave. And of course, that's understandable. But at any time where you can kind of just remind athletes and parents about the benefits of playing multiple sports, I think you and I are big believers in being able to cross train in different ways. And Dave, while we're on this topic, I was talking to my friend Pat this week, and Pat has a daughter down at Pomona who's playing basketball down there, first year. And one of the things they've been doing in the fall is bringing the coaches from other teams. So bringing like the volleyball coach, and I think they had like field hockey, and they'll be taught that other sport, and the basketball players will play that sport as sort of a way a way of cross training and sort of training other muscles that they wouldn't train in basketball, both injury production, but also sort of stimulating sort of that cognitive side of sport where you're having to learn a new motion and a new way to sort of compete and find teamwork with a completely different sport. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea, and I might, implement that at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think, we talked about Coach Spoelstra with Brock and Mike, and we've mentioned him, he, and I mentioned this came up, and I think LeBron talked about this on a podcast that Spoelstra went to a football practice with Chip Kelly to pick up ideas using the spread offense, right? So there's transferability across sports, and Carly is a perfect example of that. She's an elite tennis player. If she really wanted to, I think she could be a Division I tennis player. She just loves basketball so much, but I think that her abilities on the tennis court inform her basketball skills and vice versa. So I was really honored to have this time with her. She's very busy, and she was very kind to sit down with me. We wish you could have been there, Duff, but this was a really fun conversation, and I'm excited for everybody to listen to it.
Yeah, great work with this interview, and thank you, Carly. And thank you, listeners and supporters and sponsors, and enjoy the episode. And we'll be back on October 30th for season 2, episode 3.
All right, we're going.
Okay.
Hi, Carly.
Hello, Dave.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Okay, Carly and I'm here with Carly Amborn, my friend. I'm going to embarrass Carly. I love seeing her when she gets embarrassed. I'm going to go through a quick background on you. Okay. I think most of our listeners probably know who you are, but go through the quick background. Now, I'll preface this, listeners, by saying Carly and I are both sitting here in our Run TMC shirts, very sweaty because we just did a workout. I just rebounded for her, but I'm sweaty. But she's an easy person to rebound for because she doesn't miss very often. So anyway, Carly Amborn grew up in San Anselmo, right?
Larkspur,
sorry.
Close.
How dare I? Grew up in Larkspur. Your mom, good friend of mine, Pam Nelson, an amazing athlete in her own right. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about Pam, but Pam was a pro tennis player, amazing competitor, played at Wimbledon. So we want to talk about your experiences growing up with a competitive athlete as a parent.
Yeah.
You played CYO hoops in Marin, right? We're gonna get to that, and including, I believe you played against the boys often.
Yes, the whole time.
Okay, the whole time. All right, we're gonna talk about that. Carly started her high school career at Archie Williams, her freshman and sophomore years. She killed it. She was one of the best players in the MCAL, even though had some injuries, right? Was your sophomore year?
Freshman year. Broke my ankle. Yes, unfortunate.
Okay. Broken ankle, but then still one of the best players in the MCAL. We're going to get to this too. Played club basketball in the off season for Jason Kidd Select the last 2 years, and I want to spend a lot of time discussing your experiences playing club basketball at that high level on the national scene. Very fortunate for me, Carly transferred to San Domenico last year and was a huge part of a very successful team. We won the NCS title in Division 5, got bumped up to Division 2 for NorCals and lost to Vanden in the NorCals. But Carly was a unbelievable player for us, player of the year in the league, just all everything. Carly's recruited by almost everybody. We're going to go through her recruiting journey, but she ultimately landed a full ride to Stanford. So she's going to finish out her senior year playing for me at San Domenico, and then she's going to go down 280 to play at Stanford and Cape Pay.
Yes.
Also a phenomenal student, and by the way, an amazing tennis player. So when she transferred to San Domenico, the San Domenico tennis coach, Rob Jessen, I think was the third happiest person in the county behind me and Fulton. So if she wanted to, I think Carly could probably play Division I tennis easily. So in addition to being one of the best basketball players in the country, more importantly, Carly is an incredible person. She's an amazing teammate, just a great human. I can speak from experience, one of the most coachable, amazing kids I've ever coached. And I'll say this, and then I'll stop embarrassing you, Carly, and we can hear you talk. But before every interview, Duffy and I, come up with these questions.
Yeah.
And usually I'm the one that I come up with the list of questions. And then Duffy will say, he'll remind me, okay, Dave, what's the theme of this interview? Like, what's the overarching theme? So he and I were just texting. Unfortunately, Duffy is not here today. So it's just me. But when I was thinking about the theme of this episode, I was thinking about last year when you transferred, we had open gyms at the start of the season at 6:30 in the morning. And I showed up to one, and Summer and Lily and Avery, our seniors, Mina, Naoli, Maddie, they were all calling you Prod. And I thought that was like a mistake. Like, what do you mean Prod? What's Prod?
And it was because their nickname for you that they came up with was the Prodigy.
Yes.
So you are known as Prod. And I was on my way over here, I was looking up the definition of prodigy is a person, especially a young one, endowed with exceptional qualities or abilities. And I thought that's a pretty good name for you.
Thank you.
You're not just endowed with them. You have them because you worked really hard. But the theme of this episode, Carly, is the prodigy and kind of how you became so talented playing basketball. So enough of me rambling. We're going to, go back to the beginning. But before we get there, I want to talk about the present and Stanford.
Yes.
How did you, first of all, how many offers did you have? Rattle off some of the schools that were recruiting you.
Well, I committed early in my junior year, so I didn't get to actually play the summer after my junior year, like with all the recruiting and stuff. So by the time I committed, I think I had 14 offers and it was like Washington, and most of the Pac-12 schools, so Washington, Utah. There was also Michigan, and then like academic, like Harvard and stuff. But I mean, I probably would have gotten more offers if I had waited, but I always kind of knew I wanted to go to Stanford. So when I got the offer, it was a no-brainer for me.
Totally. Obviously just because of me, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Definitely.
So when it came down to making a decision, and I remember you went on a couple final visits. So who were the final 3 or 4 schools that you were looking at?
I'd say I really enjoyed my visit at Utah.
Yeah.
And then I thought Washington was really nice. I liked them a lot. And then I visited Cal a lot just because it was really close to home. And I have a lot of family that's gone there. So that was definitely up there. But after I visited Stanford, I knew I went back like the day after and drove down and committed. So
I should say Carly has several siblings. They're awesome. A few of them are shooting hoops in the gym behind us. But your older brother, Cal.
Yes.
Not coincidentally, is playing college baseball at USF, right? So, and also a very good basketball player in his own right.
Definitely.
So very athletic family. But yeah, so that must have been tough for your mom when you decided to go to Stanford. But I think she was okay with that.
Yeah, I think she was totally fine. She says it took her about like 0.2 seconds to get over it.
Yeah.
She knows it's a better place for me, so.
Totally. So with Stanford now, you were recruited by Tara Vanderveer, who obviously I know well, the winningest coach in college basketball history, men or women. We just looked it up.
Legend,
Do you remember the number?
1,216.
1,216 wins. 1,216 more than I have as a head coach, which is awesome. So she's recruiting you. Going in, it was like they were pretty transparent with you that
Very.
Tara was, looking at retiring at some point soon, and that Kate Pay would be the likely successor.
Yes.
But so beyond getting recruited by this incredible legend, what other factors played into you ultimately deciding to go to Stanford?
Well, I also talked a lot to the other coaches. So now the current head coach, Kate Pay, and then also Katie Stedding and the other assistants as well. And they were all just really special people, I thought. And they were very easy to talk to on the phone. And some coaches aren't as easy. So I really felt like I connected with them. And then also just the school itself, academics has always been very important to me and my family. So that was just really important to me. And other schools didn't, maybe checked other boxes, but not that.
Yeah.
I feel like Stanford's kind of the only school that you have the best of both worlds. And then obviously it's really close to home, which is important to me.
Yeah.
And my family's going to get to continue going to all my games. So those were kind of the main things I thought. Yeah.
So Carly has an amazing support network, I should say. It's awesome. I mean, basically everything, whether it's a summer league game, your mom's there, your grandparents are there.
Yeah, I have a big section.
So some subset of siblings are usually there running around. So you have this amazing support network. So I get that being close to home. Now, with that said, the Pac-12 is no longer in existence. So how do you feel about the ACC?
I mean, I grew up watching Pac-12, so it would have been pretty cool to play in it.
Yeah.
But I think it's really exciting going to the ACC. It's just new competition. So I feel like it's a very different style of play, which I think will be fun to try. And I mean, we get to play in really cool gyms too.
Totally.
Which we get to travel the country, everything. So it'll be great.
That's awesome. So when we had Jace Butler on, which was great, and he's actually, since our interview, he's decommitted from Illinois and going to Washington. He's up there now.
Yeah.
We were talking about, some of his official and unofficial visits. Mm-hmm. And so for you mentioned, I remember you went to Utah, you went to Michigan, Cal, Stanford.
Yeah.
So just remind our listeners, what's an official visit and what's an unofficial visit?
Yeah, so I've never actually taken an official visit. I only took an unofficial visit.
Okay.
But now I get to take my official visit at Stanford in October. So I'm very excited about that. But But the unofficial visits, the school doesn't pay for it. So you have
Got
to
it.
pay your own travel, everything, and food when you get there.
Yeah.
Official visit, they pay for everything. So like on my official visit, like my whole family were getting like picked up in a limo, like driven down. They pay for the hotel rooms, everything. So
Great.
yeah,
Awesome.
pretty cool.
But still, even with the unofficial visits, they had like a full schedule out for you. You're
Yeah.
meeting with the players, you're meeting with the coaches.
Yeah.
Right. You're getting a real feel for the school.
Definitely.
Right.
Usually you go on like a football Saturday or something,
Right.
and you get to go to the game and stuff too.
Right.
It's pretty fun.
So discuss NIL. I remember seeing on one of your
Yes.
on one of your visits there was like NIL opportunities. I forget what school it was, but it's just that's a new thing in the last couple of years, right? That kids your age have to think about. So
Yeah.
to what degree did that factor in, if it did at
Definitely.
all?
I mean, I think that the main school that was more of a conversation at was Utah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a really big deal now. I feel like because they basically are able to give you like a paycheck, and that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's hard to ignore, like as a recruit, like looking at that as a positive.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's kind of hard to weigh because like at Stanford, that wasn't as much of a conversation. There is NIL opportunities, but you also have to take into account like you're leaving with a Stanford degree. So that's just as valuable in my opinion.
Well, it's interesting. Stanford, I think, has been less aggressive on NIL, or at least they were less aggressive initially.
Yeah,
And that really it certainly impacted their football team.
definitely.
And so, yeah, that'll be, but you're right, the value of the Stanford degree. I mean, I think your decision,
Yeah.
I think you made the right call,
Thank
buddy.
you.
So how has the communication been with Stanford since you committed?
It's been great. I mean, we still check in with each other and stuff, and I talk to Kate a lot. I text with all the coaches. During the season, I went to a lot of games, and I got to go like and listen to their pregame talks and stuff before the games. It was really cool. We sat in like the section with all the parents, so it's been great. Yeah.
That's great. And I will say last year it was fun. Kate Pay was there when I was there. She's a couple years ahead of me, which I remind her of a lot. But we would play one-on-one against each other and stuff. But she came to a few of our games last year to watch you play. And Katie Stedding was at a couple of our games, Erica McCall, Tempe. So it's a great coaching staff. I'm really excited for you. So we'll come back to your recruiting journey, but thank you for that perspective. I'm just super proud of you that you're going to be wearing the Stanford uniform
Thank
in
you.
2 years. But we have a year left.
Yes,
together,
we do.
Carly.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the early days of Carly Amborn. And again, your mom, pro tennis player, played at Wimbledon a couple times. So I assume growing up you had a tennis racket in your hands at a young age. Is this true?
This is very true. Yeah, I think I had all the different sports, tennis rackets, everything in my hands. Like, practically from birth. So.
Okay. So when did basketball start, and why did you like basketball?
I think basketball's always been my favorite. I think I liked the team aspect. And then I also liked that it was kind of my thing. I love tennis. I love getting to play with my mom, but I like basketball just being like, that was always my sport. Baseball was my brother's. So that was kind of my favorite.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. It's got to be amazing and hard to have a parent that's so good at something and you feel like, okay, there's pressure to do it, but then also like, it's interesting you say you kind of wanted your own thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my mom couldn't be more supportive of what I do. And I think a lot of people think their parents like put a lot of pressure on them. And I feel like my mom's always motivated me a lot to go out and practice and do everything. But I've also always been self-motivated as well. So I never felt like I was getting like pushed into it. And like some days there would be days like I didn't want to go play tennis, but she knows it's important and it's going to help me with everything. So
Totally. Yeah, I would say, and this is high praise that I often say, you have a motor. And the players and the kids who have motors, meaning you're self-motivated, you want to get better. And when I said early on, you're so incredibly coachable, that's what I mean. You care and you want to be coached, right? And that's why you're one of the reasons why you're so good. Okay, CYO, you mentioned you played against the boys. When did that start?
Yes, so my older brother played CYO as well, and since I was little, I always would come to his practices as well because my mom and my grandpa coached his team. And then I got old enough to where I was playing CYO, so I played on a boys team as well. And my mom and grandpa also coached that team. So I played with them all the way till I think it was 7th grade, but then it was like COVID and stuff. So
right.
Yes.
That good old COVID thing. Okay, you mentioned your grandpa. Yeah. Awesome guy. Your mom, Pam's dad, he was a basketball player, correct?
Yes, he was. He played at Nevada It was back when there were like 2 teams, so
Okay.
he's kind of a late developer, so he was on like the second team, but he was still really good.
It's still really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows the game. He's still at all the games. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you have one of the purest shooting strokes I've seen. And
Thank
those of you who don't know, Carly, what are you, 6'2", 6'1"?
Yeah. 6'1", 6'2".
6'1", 6'2",
Yeah.
guard, can handle the ball, can shoot it, but just effortless, pure shooting stroke from several feet behind the three-point line. That's hard. You're not born with that. That's hard work. So who taught you how to shoot?
I'd say my grandpa was definitely big, and then my mom. Even my grandma, she definitely
Yeah.
helped out. I mean, they're all like my main rebounders.
Yeah.
So I think they can all take a lot of credit for it. I mean, my older brother is a great shot too, so
Yeah.
I think it definitely runs in the family.
And then growing up, when you're so as we talked about, you have a motor. So it's a Saturday and you're bored. Are you grabbing a basketball and going and shooting around?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, when I was younger, I loved doing, I mean, I still do, but I love doing ball handling drills. Like,
Yeah.
I'd gone to a Stanford camp, and they taught us what are called Baker drills, which is like 2 balls,
Yep.
and you do it with a partner.
Yep.
And ever since that camp, I went out like every day with my mom, and we did the Baker drills, and for years. Yeah.
I assume that's
So-
Gannon Baker. Yeah, that's awesome. Very, very cool. So were there any coaches, like, did you have any skills trainers when you were growing up?
Yeah, I'd say Michael Turner was
Yeah.
a big one for me. I love him.
He's amazing.
And then once I started high school, my main trader's been Ed. He's the JV coach at Archie.
Okay.
And I've been practicing with him for years now. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it shows that your handle, your shooting, that's you work at it. And I see you before every workout, you're 2-ball dribbling and you're still
Yes.
doing it today. It's awesome. Did you ever play pickup when you were young?
Not really. I mean, I always played like with my brother's friends.
Yeah.
But I never like went down to a park and like played pickup. I don't feel like
Yeah.
I feel like that needs to happen more in Marin. I don't like know where you'd go and do that.
That's why we're doing this podcast, Kylie. It's Duffy and my mission to get pickup back in the
Yes.
conversation for kids. Us old guys, we play pickup all the time.
Yeah.
But okay, so club basketball when you were younger, you mentioned Michael Turner. Were you playing NBBA?
Yeah, I was on his team.
Against the
for
boys?
Several years. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so how would the boys pass the ball to you? Were they nice to you?
I mean, sometimes they didn't pass the ball very well, but I'd say
Boys kind of suck. I talk to my daughters about this all the time.
no, but it was good. It was a good experience. And I think Mike was a really great coach for me too. But it definitely teaches you, I mean, the boys, like, they're just at that age, they're just faster and just
Yeah.
better. So it really pushed me to improve a lot more than if I just played with the girls. So when I got to high school and started playing with the girls, it was definitely much easier.
Yeah, totally. So let's fast forward to high school, and I want to specifically focus on your club basketball experience.
Yeah.
Because I think this is really interesting for our listeners. So you're really good. So freshman, sophomore year in the off season, are you playing club?
Yes. Yeah, I played Jason Kidd. Well, actually, after my freshman year,
Yeah.
I went to Israel for the Maccabee Games.
Okay.
Like the Jewish Olympics.
Yeah, of course.
So I got a gold medal there, which was pretty cool. So I didn't get to do
Awesome.
club that year, but
Okay.
then sophomore year, that summer was the first time I played with Jason Kidd Select.
So how did you pick Jason Kidd versus the other programs?
I mean, we knew like one of the other girls and their parents that played for Jason Kidd, named Harper Peterson, who's
Yep.
also going to Stanford.
Oh, ironically going to Stanford.
Yes, exactly. So we had heard great things about the program, and I feel like they've really created like a family atmosphere where not only are they helping girls get college offers and everything, but then off the court, they're trying to give everyone more opportunities because Jason Kidd's very involved with it. So it was kind of another no-brainer for us.
That's very cool. Now, did you consider Cal Stars, Bay City, NBBA, these other programs?
I mean, I'd say Cal Stars probably was the next one we were thinking about just because they had reached out as well.
Yeah.
But I tried it when I was like way, way younger, and I don't know. I was probably just too young at the time.
Okay.
So I just tried Jason Kidd and I really liked it.
Great. So discuss the good and the bad of club basketball.
I mean, I feel like I've learned a lot playing club basketball because at the tournaments, anyone that's been to these showcase tournaments knows it's like incredibly stressful playing in front of all the college coaches,
Yes.
especially before you have any offers or anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like mentally I've improved so much, like being in those kind of high stake seeming situations. And then, I mean, it's kind of what club basketball I feel like is known for, but there's a lot of commotion on the court.
Totally.
So just making sure you're like able to stay locked in and just focus on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a lot of fun like traveling with my mom and grandma too. So I've had a great time. Yeah.
So the summer before your junior year,
Yes.
you were traveling all over the place. I know you did it this last summer too, but that was a summer where you're trying to get offers, you're trying to commit.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you go? Give me some examples of tournaments you played in.
I mean, you go to some pretty random places. We went to Pennsylvania.
Yep. Spooky Nook.
Yes, Louisville, like the massive convention center there.
I think you got to call it Louisville. Carly. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know, there's like 87 courts or something crazy.
Yeah.
Dallas, that was my favorite tournament, I think.
Okay.
We got to play in the Cowboys Stadium, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, so setting the stage, you walk into these places.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest convention you've ever seen.
Yes.
Just massive.
Yeah.
And then you go to these courts where the good teams are playing, which is what your team would be playing on.
Yeah.
And you have stands on the sides, right? But then usually it's under the hoops.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the tournament, right? But you have an area cordoned off for college coaches.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in your case, you're playing in front of Tara Vanderveer and Gino Ariema and Dawn Staley.
Exactly.
So what's that like when you're doing warm-ups and before those games? Before you have an offer, are you freaking out or are you
I mean, it's pretty nerve-wracking. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous before the games, because I definitely was, especially before I got used to it.
Yeah.
Because like at the beginning when I started it, I didn't really have anything, so it felt very much like every game was super duper important. I think I learned as it went that like coaches aren't just looking at one game or one player if you miss one shot. So I think just learning that and learning that they're really looking on how you put together a whole game or a whole tournament.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of the pressure off. But I mean, it's a lot of eyes on you, so it's definitely stressful.
So how did you approach, I've never asked you this question, but how did you approach, so playing in a game like that, so coming from your high school team, both for Archie and for us, I mean, for us, you have an open shot, you're taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Or Fulton, and now I will be annoyed with you.
Yeah.
So shoot when you're open. In that situation, you're surrounded by All-Americans.
Yeah.
Everybody's shooting whenever they get the ball.
Exactly.
How do you approach that? Do you go into it with the mindset that I have to be aggressive and I have to score, or are you trying to win games? Like how do you kind of frame your persona when you're playing in these coaches?
I mean, I think AAU's tricky because part of it is like your team is really trying to win, but then also like part of them is in it for themselves because they want to get looks, they want to get everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important when everyone is the main option on your team, like everyone's their best player on their high school team when you get to this level, is you just have to find like your role and like do all the things that like you can do, like always hustle, always get the rebounds, even if you miss a shot, like make sure you're in the right place, right time, all those sort of things that you can control.
Yeah.
Because you can't control if your teammate doesn't pass to you or if they take a shot, or that's just nothing you can do about that. So.
And as we've talked about, coaches look at body language. They look at how you respond to making mistakes. They look at what are you like on the bench.
Yeah.
I've talked about this with KK, and we mentioned this when we interviewed your buddy Mike Turner and Brock Winter.
Yeah.
They look at like after the game, do you leave your water bottle on the bench?
Yeah.
Do you pick up after yourself?
Yeah, look after your parents.
Yeah, it's exactly. How do you treat your teammates and the environment around you? They care about that.
Definitely.
Style of play, club basketball versus regular, more fast paced. Talk about, do you guys run a lot of sets or is it kind of free flowing?
Definitely more fast paced. I mean, we had a lot of sets too, but also a lot of it's just like everyone knows how to score on the floor, so there is more freedom, I'd say, for that. But we definitely run sets. But it's really fun because everyone's so high level, so you really get to know your teammates, and there's a lot of scoring, so it's fun, definitely.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we talked about this. Like, I mean, with our San Domenico team, I mean, you had an amazing last year in particular. You had an amazing supporting cast, right? You had Summer Jenkins and Lily Reeser and Maddie Greenstone and Mina Swain, Naeli Aguirre, Avery Conklin, Tosha, Amaji Cook. I mean, this amazing players around you.
Yeah.
But you were the focus of our offense. So with Jason Kidd, when you're not the focus, are you thinking? So how do you approach kind of the defensive end of the floor in club basketball? Do you want to guard the other team's best player?
Oof, I don't know. I got thrown in the 5 a lot this year, I feel like.
Okay, so you're posting up.
Which is tricky. I mean, there's some big girls. But I think the defensive side is something I really improved on this year, and it's something I was trying to work on. It's just getting faster and more physical. So I don't know. I think AU is a really good time to work on that because everyone is so much faster than high school and so much stronger than high school.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like to try to guard the best people, but it's really hard with the matchups. Like I don't if it's a little point guard, like I don't know, but I do my best.
Do your best. Totally. Well, you're one of those unique players where you're 6'1", but you can handle the ball. You've got a lot of flexibility, right? We'll get you a little bit stronger upper body. I know we're working on that too. That's awesome. Okay, a few more questions on this. Feedback and criticism from coaches. So I have one example of this. Last year in our NCS final game, packed gym at San Domenico, we're playing Cornerstone Christian.
Yeah.
San Domenico has never, even though we've won state, we've never won North Coast section.
Yeah.
It's a tight game, and at the end of the third quarter, you were not having your best game. You were struggling a little bit.
Yes.
And Fulton got into your face in Mike's way and said, basically, Carly, you got to play better. And I just vividly remember that moment. And a lot of kids maybe would have shrugged their shoulders or kind of put their head down or fought or been defensive, and you just nodded your head and said, got it. And then you went on, and in the fourth quarter, you dominated and we won the game.
Yeah.
And you dealt with that feedback and that criticism really well.
Thank you.
And I know in club basketball, you have coaches who are giving you feedback and criticism. How do you approach that? Because I'll tell you, in college, you're going to get that kind of criticism, right? Because this is a business.
Yeah.
So how do you approach those situations?
Well, I think I've developed more of a thick skin, just doing the AU and everything. So you say that story, I don't even remember him getting in my face.
That's
or,
nothing.
Being I don't even remember it. But
yeah.
I mean, just knowing usually your coach has your best interest in mind. So it's coming, especially with Mike Fulton. I mean, it's coming from a place of love. He was gonna give you a hug afterwards.
Totally.
So he's not trying to be mean to you or anything. So I trust Mike, obviously.
Yeah.
And I also knew I wasn't playing my best, so I knew I had to step it up.
Yeah.
But
awesome. And next year when I yell at you, it's coming from a place of love.
Good.
I don't yell at Carly. Okay. What are your favorite drills? We talked about your 2-ball dribbling drills. What else? So you're by yourself. You want to get better. What are you doing?
I mean, I love to shoot. So, new favorite might be the 2-minute drill. Dave Levine introduced me to it. So you got to make 2 in a row from each spot, and then you try to make as much from the top as possible.
So this is the Larry Bird. It's called the Larry Bird drill, also known as the Steph Curry drill. Got 2 minutes on the clock. We talked about this with Dave Deneen, and now I use it all the time. Carly and I just did it. What'd you get? You got 14?
Yeah.
I got 17, so sorry. I believe Carly has gotten, what'd you get? You might have gotten 20 one time. Actually, I did it with Duffy 2 weeks ago. Duffy not here. I think Duffy got 21.
Yeah.
Which was pretty darn good. So good drill. Advice to youngsters who are listening who want to be the next Carly Amborn.
I would say dribbling has probably been one of my biggest or most important skills, especially since I'm a taller guard. The fact that I focused so much on the skills when I was young has helped me so much.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of girls, they get pigeonholed into a position from a young age. So I easily could have just been thrown as a center from the beginning, and I never would have developed any of those skills. So I think just making sure to focus on the fundamentals is super duper important. And then being the player that hustles everywhere, being the coach's player, do all the
little things.
All the little things. Yeah.
So I'll give a shout out to our friend Karen Horstmeyer.
Yes.
She said that was advice that she gave you years ago, that don't put Carly in the post, even though she's tall.
Yeah.
Teach her how to handle the ball, and that certainly has paid off for you. And as San Domenico's coach, Karen, thank you for that advice.
Yes.
To Carly many years ago. All right, buddy. So we're doing this interview right before school starts, the week before school starts, because then Carly's schedule gets crazy. Yeah. She's a very busy kid, so I don't want to take up a ton of your time, buddy, but I do need to go through crunch time with you.
Okay.
You are required to answer our crunch time questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Toughest player you've ever played against?
Oh, God. I mean, when I went to the U.S. trials, I feel like everyone there was really tough.
Okay, wait a minute. I forgot to ask you about this. Let's back up.
Okay, we'll back up.
Thank you. Perfect segue.
Yes.
Last thing I wanted to cover with your club basketball. You were invited 2 years in a row to the U.S. national team tryouts so this year was under 17?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about that experience.
It was really cool. You get to go to the Olympic Training Center, which is amazing.
Where's that?
Colorado Springs. Yes. Okay. So very high altitude, which definitely it hits you.
Yes, for sure.
It was amazing. You get to play against all the best competition. It was 50 girls there, great coaches, super fast paced. A lot of the girls I'd never met before. I'd seen on Instagram or something, but It's pretty cool to get to play against them.
Yeah.
So, it was great. it's really hard, but it was a good experience, definitely.
You didn't make the team,
No.
but amazing experience. And shout out our friend Kirsten McKnight, maiden name, Marin County legend, was one of the coaches there. She sent me a picture with you, which was awesome. So you're playing against literally the best players in the country that are your age.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, my roommate last year when I went, a girl named Alexander Eschmeyer.
Yes.
And now she's going to Stanford too. So it's pretty cool. I met a future teammate even. So.
Awesome. I've heard her dad, Evan Eschmeyer, played in the NBA, I remember. Very cool. Okay, awesome. Now back to crunch time. Toughest player you've ever played against? Go.
I mean, at the trials, I'd say there was a girl named Addie. I forget her last name, but I've never felt like so unathletic in my life. She was really good. And then, I mean, the whole AU summer when I had to play the big girls inside, I mean, that was sometimes could be brutal. But I feel like I held my own.
Amazing. Okay, favorite gym in Marin?
I'd say I really like the Archie gym.
So do I.
I love San Domenico because when there's like a lot of people in there, like it feels like there's a lot of people in there. Like other gyms, like it just feels a little empty. And then not the best gym, I'd say, but Mount Tam, just because Mount Tam Rock Club, just because I've shot in there my entire life.
Totally. So. There's sentimental value. Okay. The road gym you are most looking forward to playing in?
I would say Duke, just because historic place. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be my answer. Okay, favorite WNBA and NBA players?
I'd say Cameron Brink now, WNBA player. So she's my favorite.
Heal up, Cameron.
Yes, exactly. And then NBA, I mean, probably Steph. I also love Iguodala in his prime.
Love it. NBA MVP, NBA Finals MVP.
Yes.
Okay, probably this is a tough one. Best tennis player in your family?
I would have to go with my mom. I can beat her now, but she's only had like 5 knee surgeries, so I would hope so.
Okay. All right. You're a nice daughter. Okay. Oh wait, I forgot to put it down here. But you're gonna go play pickup.
Yes.
It's a 5-on-5.
Yes.
Who is your dream team? And we talked about this. It does not have to be Marin people. It can be anybody in the world.
Okay.
But you're on the team.
Okay, got it. Caitlin Clark at the 1.
Okay.
And then I'd say Steph. Let's go Asia Wilson.
Ooh.
She's a powerhouse.
Totally.
And then another one, KD. It's long, lanky.
All right, so we got Steph, KD, we got Asia down low, and we got you and Caitlin Clark.
Yes, pretty solid.
We'll go in 3 guards with you, Steph, and Caitlin Clark. That's pretty freaking good. You're going to get a lot of shots.
Yes.
Okay, better make them. Last question. Favorite Marin restaurant, Carly?
I'd say Arno Thai Food. It's right across.
Oh, that's so close to your house.
It's so good.
Yes, that's a good one. Awesome. Well, listeners, as you can tell, Carly Amborn is an awesome person. Nobody works harder. Nobody's a better teammate. I'm honored to coach her, and I'm very honored to have her as a guest on the Run TMC podcast. Duffy wishes he could be here, but he's very happy that you took the time as well. So thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Communicating with your teammates on the pickup court. You show up, maybe you know a couple of them, maybe you don't know all of them. What's your approach? And are you, generally speaking, I think I know the answer to this, but are you generally going to be more critical of your teammates or more supportive of your teammates? What is more effective in verbally getting the best out of your teammates?
I always introduce myself. I always walk over to every person, especially I haven't met them. Just a little low high five, not a high five, a low five, just a little casual. You want to keep it casual. You don't want to overdo it with the high five. It'd be weird because you're just meeting them. And I say, hey, my name's Tom. Hey, nice to meet you. And then I'll say something a little positive, which is maybe deemed as annoying to some players, but let's get it done. Hey, let's try to win this thing. Let's go get them. Just something.
I'm annoyed with you already.
Yeah, I can tell. We're going on 32 years of you being around me. Just to sort of turn it a reminder that we're playing a team sport. Let's go do this as a group of people, and I just don't like individual players on the pickup court. And then no criticism at all, unless I know them really well, and then massive amounts of criticism, right? Because we can talk to each other that way. So Nooch and I in pickup, and something happens, I'll get in his ear and say, what was that? What are you doing? We're trying,
right.
Time and place, score, check it. And he'll yell at me and tell me to get back in the post or something. But new players are never critical, always supportive, try to keep everybody in a positive place. Unless somebody is really doing all those things we don't like, shooting, not playing defense, then you got to kind of get in the guy's ear sometimes.
Burke's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Tam to Stinson all the way to MA. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day.